Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with the tournament win here in the Golf Clash game and the Liberty Tournament video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Last but not least, get the best guides on the market by looking at our packages on Patreon. A massive value in them all. Patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the elevation adjustment, also for the ball and club type. I do feel it's going to be very beneficial to play with. Have in mind that you don't have to follow that to the letter, but trust me, I always have a plan with my adjustment. In the end though, I do believe this is going to be one of the tougher tournaments we have played so far. I'm looking to shoot, in my opinion, as a really good score over 9 holes. It's going to be -16, but I do think that the general player will end up in around -12, -13, even though going into the qualifying round, to the opening round. I do believe that we will see people qualifying for the weekend round approximately -24 and 25. That's where I do think it's gonna end up with in the end. So that's gonna be very interesting to see. And please let me know if you do have any questions. Also, can we get to 100 thumbs up? That would be amazing, and I would be forever grateful. In the end though, massive good luck in the Liberty Tournament, and let's go with hole number 1. For hole number 1, you are going to see 2 options. One with the Guardian, one with the Sniper rough bump. First, we start with the Guardian. 8 bars of backspin, 3 bars of left spin. Here, I unfortunately only used 7.9 because I had an idea of that we needed less than 8 bars. Now, I kind of box in my blue ring by the start of the fringe with the yellow ring combined by the top of the fringe or the end of the fringe, or whatever we want to call it. Now, 8.3, we do adjust for a medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 1 ball settings, and then it's time to take our shot. Perfect ball, and we're gonna see this ball bounce on the fairway, and here we can see why, Tommy, did we remove the final click of backspin, but honestly, can we be much closer than that? Super close making it with the Guardian, and the Guardian obviously will be a good shot, but it might not be 100% consistent due to the bounces that we do have, and the wind angle will definitely be an aspect. If we go over to the Sniper, there's a rough bump. Here I did struggle to find the position a little bit, and you're gonna notice that in the end. The thing that we're looking for is 1 top, 2 right, and we're looking for the top of the yellow ring by the rough line with the red ring by the end of the rough line, ball guideline to the hole like this. But then I have this kind of idea that I do need to move more left, which is stupid in the end. You can see that the ball guideline actually going past the pin, like above the pin. It's not really at the pin here, and in the end I end up having struggled with the time, and I will have to go for it. So I'm definitely not in the position that I do want. I also go with a pretty hefty 11.59. It should only be, you know, favoring an 11.59 here on this shot. Minimum distance, minimum distance +5, power 1 ball setting. And here we do have the problem, we are too much left with our initial aim point. We need to move more right, and we would catch the hill sooner, and then we would have dropped that one for a hole in 1. So whatever shot you might choose is going to be a good chance on hole 1, and I do believe that if we're going to have a chance of winning this tournament in Master, this one needs to be a drop. For hole number 2, we're going to have a very tough wind. Here I would strongly recommend to play with a wind 4, a power 4 ball if possible. Max top spin, then as much side spin to the left possible, and look at the ball guideline. We're looking for the second bounce to be just by the left of that bunker that you do have on, like the second bunker on the right, in absolute maximum distance. Once we have done that, we do adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 4 ball settings. But have in mind that to be exact with your rings when we are in max distance now with this headwind, do 2 pulls. Pull 5 rings first, and then you pull the rest. So in my case, 9.4 rings. Max overpower, max curl, and then our plan is to try to hit. Perfect. A great left and a great right will still be okay. A bad great left and a great right, that will be a major danger. And we do want to look for this ball to get into somewhere around 410 plus. If we do get to 410 plus, we shouldn't have any issues to reach for the rough bump. But if we don't reach for the rough bump or have to go with overpower with the rough bump, then I would strongly advise you to play before the rough and the sand there and bounce up towards the pin. Now we are going to be in a position where we're going to start at the plus 15 yard mark, and I'm going to try to mix around here a little bit with the spin. I do want to use as little spin possible because there is a glitch roll here, which is a very dangerous one that could just take us to go just completely through the green. So I move up a little bit here on that fairway and use 2.5 bar topspin, ball guideline to the hole. I'm also having a tiny bit of left spin as well, even though that wasn't intentional, but you know, a little side spin is no problem whatsoever. Adjust for maximum distance, no elevation. We take our shot and we're gonna see this ball coming in, bouncing on the rough, and then take a little speed, coming in a little hot. Doesn't really matter when it hit correctly or like directly at pin. Tough one here for sure. Cataclysm is the club to play with for the second shot. But in the end, everyone, when we play this hole 2, have in mind that people are going to make more pars than people are going to make eagles. But it's actually good to have a way, if we do well, to lock that eagle in as a bonus drop in the tournament. For hole number 3, we're going to start by playing with a power 3, win 5, side spin 1 ball, 7 bars of top spin, 2 bars of side spin to the left. And I'm using the white ring to the left to be just completely by the rough line. And even though you don't see plus yardage, we are in complete maximum distance of our club. When you are in maximum distance with a headwind, we will adjust into overpower, but I've designed it in the way so you don't have to go with any overpower whatsoever. You should just rely on the spin that you have been given. Maximum distance, 10% over adjustment, and we're looking to get the ball as close to the rough possible without obviously endangering going into the rough whatsoever. Second shot is going to just be a shot to transport ourselves up towards the bunker. I'm going to use maximum side spin left and 1 bar of top spin. And then I want to stretch out my club so I can see the tip of the ball guideline pointing at the right side rough on the bunker on the other side. Then we adjust maximum distance, no elevation. We're going to play with 4 rings of overpower, and we're going to then play with half a ball of curl to the left. And the reason we do play with the curl is because we do want to position ourselves more to the left, or let's say like this, it's gonna be pretty much straight in front of the bunker. And the reason we want to do that instead of just playing out to the right side without curl is because from the middle there of that bunker, we do have a brilliant angle. And the angle is going to make us have the spin to the pin in a very easy way. When it comes to playing more right, you will sometimes see yourself going short to pin because you're gonna be in a bad angle. Top of the yellow ring by the end of the rough, 2 bars of top spin, max left spin, and I'm using the thorn as a reference, meaning that once it's my turn, when it gets over to my turn, you could see that it says +3 on my thorn. And that's what I'm literally all looking for, because the +3 for me means that I'm gonna play 12% slider, minus 20%. If I do have +4, I'm gonna play 14% slider. If I play in +5, it's 16, and so forth. I'm using the thorn as a reference to give myself a much easier time to replicate the third shot. Minus 20% is the elevation for that rough bump. B52 is to prefer. If you do play with the Grizzly, I would advise you to add at least 12% extra on your slider adjustment due to a different distance on your Grizzly than the B52. But that will obviously be a little bit different when it comes to Grizzly 7, 8, 9. That's why I want to be pretty vague with that, but something to have in mind at least is to add more when you play with the Grizzly due to the less power it has on its club. Need to be an eagle on this one, guys. Needs to be. So for hole number 4, we're going to start with a sniper shot. 0.8 backspin, max left spin with a side spin 1 ball. And then we're going to look for the red ring just inside the rough with the ball guideline of the right side of the pin. Ball guideline will show that it's going to go too far, which obviously is something that we do need to have in mind. Like, we're not gonna go too far, we're gonna have a good speed. Now when it comes to our pull angle, we're gonna try to do as 12 as possible, not trying to favor either side, and then we're gonna adjust 1 to 1, which is maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power to ball. So that is 1 to 1 adjustment. So the easiest way to do is to play 7.2 rings for 7.2 miles per hour. I'm gonna see the ball bounce nicely on the fairway, get up there, catch that little funnel that we do have there on green, nicely in for an hole-in-one. For those of you that do want to go for a rough bump, here you have it. Power 1, side spin 3 ball, and we're gonna go max left spin, and now you can see I'm having 3.1 backspin. I would like us to play with 3.2, so a little click more backspin. Minimum distance club completely. Red ring just slightly inside the bunker, as you can see at the bottom right. And just ignore the ball guideline, because look how far that ball guideline is showing to the right. So the only thing you're gonna look for is minimum distance and where your red ring is positioned. Then we're going to adjust for a minimum distance with a 5% over adjustment. So even though we had 10 for the sniper shot, we are going to have to play 5 for the rough bump option. So minimum distance plus 5, power 1 ball setting, and we can see we clip the rough, and even though we aim very close to the edge of the rough, we clip basically center, and that's all accounted for. Again, a little bit more backspin, we would definitely be very close. So depending on what you feel confident with playing, it's either the rough bump or the sniper shot it's gonna be. Good chance on hole number 4 in my opinion, even though I'm not gonna count this one as a drop all the time. For hole number 5, I'm not going to go for green. Sure, the wind is definitely in the favor for it, but I'm gonna lay up and go with a short iron instead. Now I do have a maximum side spin to the left, and I'm gonna play 5.5 bar top spin. And the thing that I do look for in position wise is the blue ring by the rough there to the left in absolute maximum distance. Have in mind that if you do play with Apocalypse level 7, you will have to have a little gap between the blue ring and the rough. And if you do have, you need to have the blue ring approximately 1/3 into the rough, and with playing with Apoc 5 or Apoc 6, I would go half of the blue ring inside the rough to the left instead. A little curl to the left as well, and we are going to adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we are not gonna push up to max. Now we're going to see ourselves gaining somewhere between 370 and 390 yards. Yes, that's a big span of yardage, but the yardage is honestly just so extremely unnecessary here. Because the thing that we're gonna look for is where are we in maximum distance with our thorn. You can see that the bottom part of the blue ring is just by the pin R, and from there, for me, I'm going to play that shot as a 62% slider with that measurement in mind. Now I'm going to use top of red ring and bottom of red ring to have the top by the start of the fringe, bottom by the end of the rough, and then I'm gonna apply spin to pin. Adjustment, once again, is going to be 62% slider. We do pull over the bullseye with our adjustment with the thorn, and we're not using any elevation whatsoever. Obviously now in the end, it's all about hitting this ball perfect. A great ball will most likely not go in, even though it will be close. But getting it in right at pin is nice here on hole number 5. And this, in my opinion, is as hole 3, we need to get an eagle. For hole number 6, we're going to go straight forward here, and we're going to use win 4, power 4 if possible. Otherwise, you can go as equally with another power 4 ball that maybe have win 3 instead. Now, maximum distance, we add 7 bars of a top spin and as much side spin to the left possible. Sorry, I changed again. 8 bars of top spin. We're gonna have Apocalypse level 7 top spin if possible. If you do play with Apoc 5 or Apoc 6, then you go with as much topspin that you possible have, but obviously you will then go shorter on the fairway. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. If you play with a power 4 ball, then power 4 ball settings. The ball is going to travel itself down there very, very nicely, and we are nowhere near the rough in any form, but we do have a very nice distance to use. So now we are in absolute maximum distance of our club, or sometimes we might not, but we're gonna be very close to it at least. 5.2 bars of backspin and max side spin left, and then we're gonna look for the third bounce to be by the pin, but approximately 2 green squares before the pin instead. Now we do adjust maximum distance with a minus 5% under adjustment here. So minus 5 due to we play slightly uphill, and also that we are having the adjustment that elevation suits that. Perfect ball, very close to the wire. And you can see here bouncing on the fairway, coming in towards the pin. And we're getting it very close for an albatross here. And obviously, hole 6 here, I'm not expecting this one to drop all the time. I expect myself to be close, and maybe we can accelerate and get a drop in the opening round in the weekend. Or something like that, Whatever drop here on hole 6 is going to be a bonus, and it's going to be awesome for the tiebreaker. For hole number 7, we are going to attempt to get very close to the green area. So we're going to go with max top spin, 3 bars of right spin, and then we're going to stretch out so we can see the light pole inside the red ring. And now you can see that we do have the yellow ring just by it there to the right. Have in mind that this is with Apocalypse level 8. So in that way, with an Apocalypse level 7, we will move a little bit more right. Apocalypse 5 and 6, we will have half of that, the right side of the yellow ring, inside the light pole there. Adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 5 ball setting, and then we're gonna push up to max, and then we're gonna go with approximately 1 1/4 ball of curl to the right. Max overpower is the plan, rather a great left than a great right, as a bad great right will put you directly into the bunker. And the thing that we're looking for here, honestly, is to get the ball to go up there and then fall back down. 491 yards. So I'm going to give you a couple of references for the wedge here just in a bit. The miles per hour we are looking for with our shot on 7 is somewhere between 14 and 15 miles per hour. The reason I don't want us to have more, it's because then we put the bunker much in risk, and we do not want to get into the bunker. We rather want to stand short and then have a wedge towards the pin than anything else. From 491, we do play that shot with the endbringer, the wedge that comes. We're gonna play that one for 80, let's see here on my notes, 84% sliders, slider with 5 bars of topspin. Ball guideline to the hole. Now we are in a different distance. This is from 502, and for 502 we are obviously going to play that one way less, and that is very important to have in mind. 509 yards is medium distance in total, and then obviously we're going to go based on that. So 509 medium distance plus 25% with the slider. And obviously you can play the wedge many different ways here. It's all about what type of adjustment, but I like to go with approximately 5 bars of topspin and then go from there. You're gonna most likely end up around 490 to 495 many of the times, but if you go long, then it's good to have in mind that 509 yards equal medium distance numbers. In the end though, this is a hole that you need to make an eagle on. There is nothing else to think about here, but be very careful with the drive, because that could definitely mess up this hole completely. For hole number 8, we are going to unleash the rocket. Max backspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right, and then we're gonna look for complete minimum distance. Very important that you do have the sniper, so you in an easy way can find minimum distance line. Now we look for 2 things. Bottom red ring, just a little gap from the rough, and then the second bounce just on the right side of that bright green square that you could see there on the left side of the game screen. Obviously it's going to be easier to look at the second bounce when you're playing it yourself, but at least minimum distance, red ring with a little gap in front of the top end of the rough. Now in the end we do have a slight underpower in this shot, and that is intentional. So we do need to have the ball to cover a tiny part of the upper arrows there on this shot. We play minimum distance minus 15%, and the ball is gonna come in here very nicely and we'll get this one in for an hole-in-one. This is a very good shot and we'll get many hole-in-ones with this one in my opinion. But don't forget the underpower, because really that's gonna be the key. There is sand bumps, there is rough bump here as well, but looking at all the shots that has been sent to me and also played by myself, the rocket shot wins against the other ones with miles when it comes to percentage drops. For hole number 9, we're going to start with the dry, once again using the white ring to the right by the rough line. 3.5 bar topspin and maximum side spin to the right is what I will be doing. Now you can see that I started with 3 bars, but I will be changing the 3.5 bar topspin here to be more, you know, to get the speed that we do look for. So now, pull away from maximum distance, that's not needed. Have, in the end, the white ring by the rough line instead of having it one ring from the rough line as I having there. Adjust maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment. We are then going to push up to max. Now we're going to play half a ball of curl to the right with approximately 3 rings of overpower. If you do get to plus 11 or plus 12 after your initial adjustment, I would recommend to play with 3 rings of overpower. But if you do have a higher plus yardage, you need to go with a little bit more. And if you have a lower plus yardage, you need to go with a little bit less. Now, we get it down there, and from 382, we should be playing 78% slider, which I don't do here, because I do play with, you know, a different type of adjustment, so not being that super dialed in on this one here yet. 4.5 bar backspin is what I'm looking for here, looking to have the ball guideline very close to the pin, approximately 1 green square from the pin here. And that's something that we do need to work on, because this one looks a little bit too much in my opinion. It looks like 2 green squares if I'm not mistaken. So 1 green square away from the pin. And then we're going to adjust once again, estimated adjustment, 78% slider from 382 yards, minus 10% elevation, and unfortunately we do hit a great ball. The great ball comes in here very nicely though, but in my opinion, even with a perfect, I doubt if that would reach to the pin, even though we get a little bit more distance, and a perfect would have been super duper close to get in the hole. Tough one to hit a perfect on, in my opinion, but a very pretty easy par 5 here to get at least an eagle on, and I would consider this one to be the best albatross attempt of the 3 par 5s we do have in the Liberty tournament. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master with the tournament win here for the Liberty tournament in Golf Clash the game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And in the end, once again, thank you so much for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.